Hello, welcome back to the Beyond the Summit Summer Cup. My name is Nomad. I'm here with Mo Farah, and we are here with this tournament trying to find out who is going to make it to LA to join the rest of the teams in the Summit 9, I think it is.
Summit 9.
So, this tournament has had it all. We've had ups and downs, we've had comebacks, we've had stomps, and now we've also had a fight so epic that the game completely broke. At least that's what we're going to go with anyway. Game number 1 did go to GangSquad after a slightly questionable and very laggy Karosh fight, but hey, here we are. Game number 2, Refresh and Espada have a Wisp. Mo Farah, spray your word nuggets all over this draft.
So, yeah, get a first pick Wisp, which is super interesting. Obviously, the hero got nerfed in terms of defensively relocating his teammates out in the most recent patch, but still a very viable support, especially in the laning stage. Probably the best dual lane support out there at the moment still. And then there's a Crystal Maiden and a Naga come out from GangSquad, so they get the Crystal Maiden for themselves this time, GangSquad. It'll be interesting to see how they play it differently, what they do to try and differently to Espada with how they played the Crystal Maiden. And this Naga is super good against the IO. If you get a Meteor Hammer on the Naga Siren, you pop the song, you just run in, you can usually hit them, whoever the IO is tethered to with the Meteor Hammer, as well as the IO himself, just because they're in that close proximity to one another. And Espada took a long time thinking about their second hero here. And I think they really wanted to pick the Beastmaster, but they weren't sure, because if you roar, GangSquad can just reset the song with the fight, instead of just being able to burst down whoever you roar in the first place with the Beastmaster. But looks like they do just pick it up anyway. So I did say to you just before we went live, they're probably going to pick Beastmaster, but I'm not 100% sold on it. Let's see what they can pick along with it.
He didn't say anything.
Come on, man.
Fake news.
Hello? I'm professional. No, I can't even joke about it. That's fine. Okay, so I'd like to... I mean, we've been seeing some offlane Nagas as well, especially from Boogie recently. So it might not be a support Naga still. Could still be an offlane Aurora position 4. And it's worth noting as well that Afromoosh is actually playing instead of DNZ this game.
Yep, they've had a mid-series switcheroo, the old classic. Yeah, GangSquad, they often switch out between these two players, don't they?
Yeah, they usually do. And I think RMN's a Lesh player, isn't he, as well, in this stack. So, I imagine... Nine can play at mid if they really want to, but most of the time I see GangSquad, they usually run this Lesh as a support. So it's probably going to be a Naga position 3 and a Lesh position 4, would be my guess. Or like a Naga 3 and a Lesh 5, but run them in a dual lane together still. Just for having that ensnare into the split earth is super valuable.
I really like they've already picked up 3 counters to, 3 cancels for channeled spells to mess up with that Wisp. I think that's quite important.
So this is interesting. When you pick the IO, you kind of want a setup to be able to play around, ready for that aggressive relocating in. And they have 2 now. They've got the Roar from the Beastmaster, and they've got the Nightmare, and the Fiend Script from the Bane as well. So this IO is probably... They need to pick somebody that can play with the IO still. Something like these Lunas that we usually see. We've been seeing Sven's more recently as well, but that's very unlikely into something like a Naga with the Ensnare. Be interesting to see what they pick up to go with this IO that can relocate in to these Primal Roars and to these Fiend Scripts that are going to be coming out from Espada.
You know what I like to see though? I like to see the Quelling Blade pick up on these Banes, these Disruptors. Something that Fly to Moon, or now Windstrike, used to do a lot. Where they'd get these Quelling Blades, especially when they had a Wisp, and they'd just basically hang around in the trees and cut their way through like kind of unique paths. And there's so much mobility you can do without ever being in sight. You're never going to be in sight in the tree line. And then you can sort of get the Fiend Script from the tree line and get a nice TP in from your Wisp. And that's something which we don't really see often at all. And, I think it works for them. And I'd love to see it picked up a little bit more, especially when you've got this Wisp with you. Because finding the setup with your Bane can be extremely difficult. You don't be wanting to walk under ward vision when you're walking around as this Bane. Because obviously you're an easy pickoff. So if you can find your way through the tree line, it's something which a lot of the CS teams. So we might see it today from Espada as well.
This Spectre seems like a bit of a risky pick to me. I really like to see it when they have another support hero that can sustain with it. So something like these Warlocks and these Witch Doctors. But if you're pairing it up with a Crystal Maiden, I don't see how they win whatever lane the Spectre goes in at this point. Because the Eye of Beastmaster crushes that lane, and the Bane Luna's going to crush that lane as well. And yeah, there's the Eye of partner that we see. So Eye of Luna's a pretty good one. Obviously, if you overcharge, it helps increase the Luna's farm speed. And if you get the Axe talent at level... the talent at level 15 on the IO that gives Ags to the person you're tethered to. Very good on the Luna as well for that Eclipse Bomb. Classic combo.
Classic combo indeed.
They have they just have they have really good pushing potential and objective taking as well on Espada as well. Between the Beastmaster and the Luna now.
Yeah,
they're looking pretty
true.
scary, I would say. The Spectre pick seems really out of tempo of this whole game in comparison to everything else. They need to try and... It looks like GangSquad are just trying to extend this game, same as last time, with the Ember Terrorblade they had before.
You know, I kind of like the Spectre in response to the IO though, because obviously, how do you combat global presence? More global presence.
That's true. I mean, Spectre's very good at getting on top of the Wisp in fights. When you just pop the horn and just get on the back lines, because you really have to bring that IO down early on if you want to be able to take these team fights. It might not be able to defensively relocate out anyone anymore, but it still heals you up very quickly. Still, that overcharge does so much work for the Luna.
Yeah, that's a good point. Just gotta be throwing glaives like nobody's business, and yeah, especially I don't feel like these Naga illusions are gonna last a very long time. I guess not really any reason for the Spectre to go for a Manta anyway this game so far. Not really fantastic, but
I'm unsure.
Are they gonna put the Leshrac necessarily? I mean, it's looking like it's a position 3 Leshrac right now, or could it be mid?
I think they're going to play the Naga as the 3, which is what Boogie's been doing recently.
Okay.
And so there's the other tempo controller for Espada. Very secure mid lane. If it is Lesh mid, Kunkka crushes that. It's very good against the Spectre as well for increasing this tempo of the game, of being able to fight early on. And the thing is, Kunkka's a bit of a weird hero where you're really strong when you get to this like level 6 to 12 mark where you have so much burst damage from your spells. But then there's this bit of a downtime where you don't have much damage before the late game. So they've kind of secured themselves the late game, I feel like, against the Spectre just by having these two really strong cores. Like Kunkka can just build this rapier late on and just it's like one hitting the Crystal Maiden. I can see it already, but I feel like they've between their 3 core heroes on Espada, they've kind of covered the whole spectrum of the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. They've got a very multifaceted draft. There's a lot they can do with it. You know, objectives, Roshan, ganking, any stage of the game they're going to be strong as well. I like what they've pulled out here. Not a conventional pairing for the Wisp as well, which is quite interesting. Usually you see the Wisp with like the CKs or the you know, if you're going really far back, the Tinies and stuff. But you know, nowadays just sticking with any old carry. And I think with the Luna, it's just as good as any carry because Wisp doesn't really care who he's partnered with.
So it is Boogie playing the Naga, sorry. So it's the off-lane Naga with the Arm and Lesh, I imagine, in that dual lane. But this Zeus seems super weird to me. Like, it's super good burst damage and things, but who are they playing around in this mid-game situation? I think it has to be the Naga. And I don't think you could fight around the Naga when she doesn't have sleep up. I feel like if Espada just upped the tempo of this game really quickly, just Beastmaster and Kunkka running around finding kills everywhere, like Io can relocate people onto a Raw, Fiend's Grip, a Nightmare, or an X combo by the Kunkka. There's so much kill and global like pick-off potential from Espada. They really have to just up this game up and just start picking off people one by one. Because I don't see how GangSquad can fight into them early on. I think it's going to be really difficult for GangSquad to open the map up and try and extend the game when there's so much catch from Espada.
I feel like if this Zeus has a half-decent laning phase, he's going to be such a threat to Espada, though. Especially with the global presence from him and Spectre, it makes it very hard for Io to actually play this game how he wants to. And this isn't an entirely Io-based strat, but for sure it's an important part of their draft. I think they're going to fight well, and I think all they need to do is make it to this late-game situation. Also, you know, the Luna, she can't help but hit the Spectre in these fights. That refraction, the dispersion is going to be doing so much work this game. You know?
That's true, but it's going to get to the point where the Luna and the Kunkka get a BKB, and if they can just blow the Spectre up, the dispersion doesn't do any damage while you have the BKB on. So I don't think they should be worried too much about the Spectre, especially if they can execute their game plan. I get this first Roche with the Beastmaster probably going for a Medallion. They'll have the Luna as well. They have really good Roche taking potential, and just start running down all these outer towers early on and just shut GangSquad, into their own base and outfarm them. I honestly think this Espada draft is so much better than last game.
Okay. Is it an outdraft though?
I'm not sure if it's a complete outdraft because GangSquad have a way they can win the game. Yeah. But
Oh, this is a good start. They're bringing up 4 heroes here, and I think they're going to go for the IO, although they're splitting their focus quite a lot here as Oliver's trying to chase down the Beastmaster. Oh, I think he just threw out the... they do finish him off. So actually, that helped them get the kill. I'll explain why in a second as Misha's getting chased down by Oliver and the crew. Axe is going to fly through, but do very little level 1. Yep, well, there it comes out. But they miss with the stomp, and that is going to put an end to their chase. What I really liked that Oliver did that fight was that he put the Spectral Dagger in. As I called it, I said they're splitting the fight, but that wasn't the case. He was just slowing down BTZ because they knew that I was going to throw out the second tether, and that meant that he couldn't get far away enough. Very smart heads-up play by Oliver there. He's got his head exactly where it needs to be. Although BCZ wants to come back in and fight for this rune as Aframish takes a bit of damage, but they're just going to come right back in again. They do miss the stomp again. RMN, you know, maybe feeling the pressure a bit, feeling the heat.
Yeah, they where's the 4th bounty rune? Not been picked up yet.
Yeah, I was down at bottom. So there goes 3 bounty runes to the Dire, one to
Oh, so yeah,
Espada.
Oliver just picked up the last one. I was trying to work out why the 4th one hadn't been picked up yet. That's me, just me being stupid, don't worry.
Just a bit slow, it's okay.
Same as normal.
Why you're an analyst, not a player?
Hello? No, I'm an analyst and not a player because I hit buttons like a 2K. Sorry if I just offended any 2K players. But,
very rude.
I mean, you're probably still better than me at clicking buttons.
So, you know, double-edged sword. So 9 with his new base damage on Zeus is quite capable of last hitting. With his right clicks, so it doesn't need to completely spam out the arc lightning as much as he used to, but obviously still a very useful last hitting tool for him. And did things fire? Yeah, next bottle wouldn't, of course.
This lane for the first few levels is pretty rough, I would say, on the Kunkka, but by the time you can get to that level 5 and you have a few more points in Tidebringer, I feel like you can just harass this Zeus down. And you have so much kill potential with the X-Torrent combo as well. Yeah. Like, Zeus isn't a mobile hero, so if you get on top of him, he does die really quickly.
A lot of violence down in this bottom lane. Boogie's taking a lot of harass, and RMN's starting to get down low as well as Bane is just doing so much work in this lane. He's even taking the aggro from the creeps. He doesn't care. He's a Bane, and he's just zoning these 2 out.
He has 4 mangoes on the Bane. He doesn't care about anything in life.
Meanwhile, up at top, unsurprisingly, the Beastmaster's getting a pretty good start to this lane. IO Beastmaster, it's a pretty brutal lane. It gives the IO a ton of harass with this inner beast, and just makes Beastmaster such a pain to last hit and fight up against. And it's going to be a slow, tough lane. But down in the bottom lane, we had RMN dropping to that Bane and Luna combo.
This is not looking good, because this top lane is not going to do anything up here. Spectre basically just has to farm under tower and hope that CM can just do anything.
Nyx in the middle lane. He's dropped so low here. 14 HP, and they find him with the Arc Lightning. As 9 just goes in between the tier 1 and tier 2 and finds a very intelligent pickoff.
That's the first few levels that I was talking about on the Zeus. It's so difficult for the Kunkka. He just needs to get to this point where
lane, they've got the Frost Nova, but RMN's taking a long time to get in with this stomp. He needs to find it. The Thunderclap will help him out so much, and they do land the stomp onto BZZ, and there's not enough heals from Immersion. They kill BZZ. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Misha, well, he's just got an Illusion Rune. He's doing some harass to Boogie behind the tower. Usually when I see heroes behind a tower, I'm thinking something's about to go down, but this Bane is just so deep.
I really like this play by RMN to come to the top lane, though. I think that they're not winning this bot lane with the Naga and the Lesh put together. So they're just leaving the Naga by himself, just trying to pull these waves in the bot lane. He might actually get Courier? Oh no, it's about to upgrade. And yeah, they just need to defend their Spectre at this point, at least try and win one of the side lanes. Because they can't stop the Luna from farming anyway, so what's the point in keeping 2 heroes down there?
Yeah, they're trying to throw out as much harass as they can onto this Io and this Beastmaster, but it's so difficult to keep them down. Even Wisp, you know, he's just been eating through these tangos, these Sows, these Clarities, and just allowing the Beastmaster to spam. Naga, is she really going to get out of this one? She makes it to the tree line, throwing out the Riptide as well, but I feel like she's just kind of making space, though. With the Quelling Blade, she could try something cute here, but just cute ends up being walking into the arms of Luna, which could be cute if she wasn't on the enemy team.
Honestly, I feel like this Bane Naga, Naga Lesh would have been super good if this Bane hadn't been picked up. Like, it's just such a good lane stabilizer, this Bane, and really doesn't care about trading hits.
Now, nobody wins.
Again, though, I feel like this game's not going too bad for Espada.
Lightning Bolt onto Nyx, and with RMN here as well, they get the stomp off as well, and 9 from the low ground just able to do a whole lot of damage. Can they finish him off? Well, he's got no more sticks left. He's down. He's out. RMN with a nice rotation. They find another kill into the Conqueror mid, which is exactly what they need to do. Keep this laning phase going in their favour.
I've got to be honest, when you pick this Conqueror mid though, I feel like you waste a lot of the hero's potential if you don't have a hero that can roam into mid lane and get a kill. We might see it from the Bane at some point soon to be able to kill the Zeus, but you see they actually scan because they're expecting the Bane to be coming towards the mid lane, but he's top at the moment with this Invisor in.
It could be big, but then again, all he's got is the harass and the lifesteal, and is it enough to bring down Afromush? It certainly is. Is there going to be any chance for return kill as RMN comes in the backlines? But they're certainly not. Actually, RMN might be the target now, so he's just going to TP himself down to bottom, though. Get out of harm's way.
Now that the Bane's left, they have really good kill potential down in this bot lane. But I think Bane's just going to pick up a TP here and match up the rotation.
Boogie has no points in his stair, though, so they're going to have to do it better, and they don't quite manage.
That's interesting. Okay. I mean, I guess he just didn't put any points in his stair because the left
actually going to die.
And,
that was very awkward. Very awkward play.
I mean, you've just rotated a left down to the bottom and one of your heroes has died. So it's really not what you want to be happening. This Luna's just free farming away in this bot lane, which is a super worry. This is without the whip.
Super worry.
It's a super worry, dude. It's that bad. And I don't think this Spectre's TPing to the bot lane, but I don't think he can do anything to the Luna either.
Just get everybody down here. 5-man bottom lane, kill ILTW. Win game. Easy.
They really have to kill this Luna here with the rotation from the Spectre.
Well, dagger thrown. ILTW. Probably... No, they're not going to chase him under tower. Despite attacking him. Meanwhile, mid lane, they actually get another kill. This time it's Misha who goes down here at mid. So I think he went in for a rotation. They wanted to use a Nightmare setup with the Torrent and the boat. But it didn't really work out for them in the end. Because there was the support coming in. From Mr. Afromush, who's now doing a bit of jungling. Bottom lane, though, I think it's about to kick off as they put the Naga to sleep. As RMN comes in as well. Lightning Bolt. Do they use the stun onto Misha, though? Misha's doing so much damage to RMN. RMN needs to somehow get out of this one. Stomp. Well, he doesn't get it off. He spends too long hesitating, and he just gets eaten apart by ILTW. And that's going to force back GangSquad. I'm still not sure what they're doing down here in this bottom lane. Are you killing the Luna? Are you trying to contest her farm? What's going on?
I'm not sure at all either. At least they've got this mid lane going well for them. I mean, Kunkka's CSing well, but you really want to be getting a kill with that first ghost ship. And with Afromush rotating in and waking someone up from the nightmare, just completely disrupts that combo. Nine's having a great time with the Zeus. He even gets a regen. Jeez.
Wow. Let's bring in the Arc Lightnings, and with his catapult wave, he... Oh no, his catapult's already long dead.
Do you know who's having a better game, though? I was about to say BCC in the top lane, but
yeah, I mean, he's probably going to get away from this, though.
Yeah, he's fine. He's got the chainmail as well for the extra armor, which is nice.
Afromush doesn't care, and with the ultimate from 9, never mind. How dare we say anything?
Here comes the Bane rotation, though. He's putting a mid behind the tier 1 tower here. Oh, sorry, a ward behind this mid tier 1 tower.
Right, the heat's getting to you, dude. It's fine.
They really need to be able to pick up
Ping's coming out. 9 seems to know he's here, and he guesses right.
That's super good game sense. He understands that this mid lane, he is owning so hard in this Kunk and needs help. Like, they used the scan before, and they've been expecting it all game. And they'll probably de-ward this mid ward here as well, because they know the Bane's rotated.
They've got the lightning bolt to throw out, but... Afromush and RMN are here.
I'm really surprised he's not trying to ward.
No, he hasn't lightning bolted anywhere. Which is surprising. Oh, Misha just hanging around looking for the rune, finds the invis again, and we'll probably head down to head up to top with that one. Meanwhile, Boogie comes into RTW, and I think Boogie's... Although he's got the supports coming in, as he gets the block off as well now, with the Frostbite and the stun, the split earth from RMN, and they do finish off the Luna. And that is a very good kill for them.
They finally get the point in snare, so they can finally get the kill because they can land the split earth. That skill is not easy to land.
Boy, howdy do it pay off.
Especially with the reduced cast range in the last patch. It's not an easy one. Yahoo indeed, Boogie.
Yahoo indeed. Alrighty, so coming into this mid game, coming sort of, well, towards the end of this laning phase perhaps. Who are you favouring now? Is you still got your balls in Espada's playing field, or are you looking more towards... Okay.
Their side lanes have not gone well at all. And like, even though Zeus is 3-0-2, he's not top on net worth just because this Luna's had a great time in the bot lane. I mean, Spectre can catch up though. That's the thing. This is completely normal Spectre gameplay, isn't it? You fall behind, it happens. You take a couple of good team fights with Horn, and suddenly you're back in the game.
Yeah.
Especially with this good global potential they have with the Zeus and the Horn. They have good team fight around the Song as well. There is every chance they can get some good fights going. If this boat buff comes out onto the Luna or something, they are. I don't understand how they bring her down. Especially when she gets this BKB as well. There's not a huge amount of physical damage coming out from GangSquad in their lineup until the late game where Spectre gets it's like 5 or 6 slotted. Zeus does have the Veil now as well, though, actually. So probably look to see him rotate a little bit more than before.
Yeah, that extra magic damage helps out really, really quite a lot. It always triggers me when people go for the arcane boots before the Veil, just considering how much you can make happen with the Veil. I mean, if you don't have a bottle, then fine, go arcanes, but who doesn't get bottle on Zeus?
At least nobody's picked Turblade or PL this game. But we're still poor. Very.
Cutting out a little bit there. Well, pause is still going, but in terms of Roshan, are GangSquad ever going to be able to take Roshan in this game?
No, not until it gets about 80 minutes in. That's my worry.
So it's a big problem. I mean, even with the anti-armor from Riptide, even if they get a medallion up on Naga Siren, it's still going to be a horrendously slow Roshan, because Spectre is not a good Rosh taker. Honestly,
I feel like when you play Dota, you need 2 things for definite. You need somebody that can take objectives. Well, you don't need it for definite, but it's something that really helps you win the game. Something to take objectives and something that can force fights, like with Catch or something. And they have this song that can force fights and such, and they have a Zeus throwing some spells out, but they don't really have a hero that can take objectives well. So that their win condition in this game is literally just to get to the late game and get the Spectre farmed. Because the only way they take objectives this game is just by winning fights, like brutal 5-on-5, and then just trying to run down lanes and do whatever building damage they can. They have the Leshrac, but, you know...
Yeah, I think this game is definitely like a bell curve, with the very peak of the bell curve being the BKB timing on the Luna, and possibly the Conqueror as well, but definitely the Luna. Before that point, you've got your Zeus, you've got your Leshrac, your damage output is good on the side of GangSquad. You know, they can really hold back Espada for that stage. When those BKBs come out for the 10 seconds, team fighting is going to be a nightmare. They basically just want to avoid, you know, like, it's going to be very, very difficult for them. And as well, where the Roshan threat, of course, is going to be huge. Like, I think GangSquad need to find a way to somehow contest Roshan, and against BKBs, that's going to be very difficult. But after they withstand a couple of BKB charges, once those BKB charges get down to like kind of the 7-6 second mark, then GangSquad have a really good chance to win the game if Espada haven't taken it by then.
Yes, and Zeus is probably one of the best heroes in the game in that late situation where people don't have their BKBs up. He does so much damage, like especially with the Arc Lightning damage at level 25. You have these Nimbuses coming out and causing so many issues. The way I see the game going is that they'll take the first Roshan on Espada, and they'll time it with their BKBs as well, and then they'll just go and take all the outer towers on the map. And then what's going to happen is they'll just outfarm them until the second Roshan, which they pick up, and then they'll just go high guard and win the game. That's how I see it playing out in my head.
Well,
but again, you know, Dota games aren't played out in people's heads. So,
that is true. That is true.
Misha sees a Spectre here in the top lane. They might be looking to get something done here.
Being very patient. Zeus ult will catch him out and means that it has to be go time whether you want it or not, as Immersion's actually dropped in the top lane.
That Whisper just really low and the Zeus just randomly ults and kills him. That's so sad.
Randomly ults? We'll pause for a long time, just saying.
ILTW needs to be careful in the spot lane as well. He's pushing high up and they have vision of him.
Oh, ulti popped in the bottom lane as they try and bring down Iron Men. They will be successful, but now the turnaround comes. The relocate is in from Spectre as they dive the tower onto ILTW. There's a lot of illusions coming out. Can they bring down this Luna, though? She's so very fast. Another dagger won't be available. I guess it will in 3 seconds because she's got the one. Meanwhile, the top Aframish goes down. ILTW, though, chased down into the trees with the net. They bring him down. There is a TP incoming after she dies. Much too late as you lose your Luna once again. And this is Oliver, the one carry getting a kill on the other carry. Spicy.
Yeah, nobody had any TPs there to save the Luna. That's I think the Wisp just Heather just TP'd in somewhere as well just after he respawned. Beastmaster didn't have a TP cook because TP was on cooldown. That's really unfortunate. And yeah, that kill is so big for Spectre in the grand scheme of things. Good rotation though by Boogie and the Leshra.
X-Mask used onto Boogie, tries to get the stomp off, isn't successful, and the Ghost Ship comes in and takes him out. Meanwhile, Leshra gets a stomp onto Misha, but is now slept in response, trying to get under the tower here, but they're just chasing down Iron Man, and they bring him down over the wire. Swiss could be in trouble. Ulti from Zeus finishes the job, as Zeus comes in on the sidelines here, looking at Nyx as well. Kunkka, he doesn't have a whole lot of health left. X-Mark's turret, it's not enough. 9 brings him down. Aframish just playing under the tower on this Crystal Maiden. The buybacks did come out as Immersion gets back into this fight, as BZZ picks up the regen rune, but unfortunately I was just a little bit too late to this party.
I've got to be honest, I don't really know why they're fighting around this Zeus in the mid lane. Like, he's the strongest hero on GangSquad at the moment. Stop going to him. just keep fighting in these side lanes and make him come to you. Because there's no reason to try and fight into this biggest, like, this huge Zeus hero at this point in the game, especially when you don't have your BKBs. Obviously, you're not going to have them up yet, but just wait for your timing that you have. Get this Roshan, just get your BKBs up and then take the fights. You can find pickoffs and you have this relocate available now. Or
well, tell them to stop, but they're going to keep on going on to this Zeus as they mess with the torrent. And now, well, Zeus slept up, but they're bringing in the Naga, who will have a song available, and she cooks it up before she TPs. Did she, or did she use it the moment she came out? Maybe she used it the moment she came out.
Luna died in the top lane as well. To the, I think it was the Lesh and a +1. I think it was the Naga before she TP'd in.
Wow, that is another big death on the Luna, and she's starting to, well, she's not falling behind on the net worth as such, but these deaths are going to affect her and kind of take the wind out of her sails as that roaming, that hard carry wants to really snowball ahead, especially in a game like this against the Spectre.
I'll be honest, I understand these players are a lot better than me, but I feel like they're playing this game wrong. I'm glad they've just done what I thought they would. The Io needs to play with the Luna more. And you see, they TP into the mid lane together. I think they've realised their mistake, and they're just going to start playing around together, making sure that the Io can stay with the Luna the whole time, and just let them use the Fiend Script and the Raw to set up for the relocate. Just use the Io to help the Luna boost her farm, because she's falling behind now. She had such a good start. You just keep this momentum up. Just build up towards that BKB that we've said is going to do so much work for them.
Do you play much Wisp?
I used to. I think I've got a 60% win rate on that hero after about 60 games. But
okay.
I don't play it too much anymore. It's really difficult to play in solo games, that's why.
True, true. Oh, down the bottom lane. They're going to go onto the Kunkka. Split Earth is out, and now with a net as well. Bring in a Haunt from the Spectre, and Iron Man will finish the job, although the relocate in from ILTW finds a kill onto Iron Man. Didn't quite save the Kunkka, and now they're looking for Boogie as well as the axes come through, but it's an ultimate from Aframush. They might just decide to back out of this one. They certainly do. The Roar is out, and then in comes Oliver once again as they blow up BZZ. Misha goes for the ulti. It's like they didn't realize that the Wisp and the Luna TP'd out of this one, and they're just left to their own deaths.
Again, I feel like there's some communication issues there. The Wisp just takes the Luna out where like you said, feels like the Beastmaster thought they were going to carry on going together. But that's much better from Espada in the sense that they executed their game plan better. Didn't go well for them that fight.
Didn't work, but the plan was executed, yeah.
Yeah, they're trying.
Better to have a plan and fail than never to have a plan at all. Wise words. Wise words, indeed. Misha's currently sitting with 4 observer wards. This guy's just stockpiling, and is this a tactic people actually do to like stockpile the wards for a while, and then you can just like ward bomb the entire enemy jungle, and you're just gonna have loads of vision for like 6 minutes?
No.
And... No, okay.
No.
Could it be?
I mean, I guess, but then you're playing without vision for like such a long time. Oh, they've put an observer down on where a sentry was as well, so I don't think that got spotted out by GangSquad, so that's going to be a super good ward for the Bane to put down.
Oh, I see.
They're not going to realise it's there.
Find another one. I don't know, they might just check it though, surely.
Yeah, they saw Bane walk past for this observer they had, I think. They just put down. So they might realise that there is some deep vision in their jungle somewhere.
Misha's just spinning in the river, making the intimidation plays by just spinning around. Iron Man.
He doesn't have Fiend Script up. This is really risky.
He's come very far forwards here, and the net is going to come out, and the split earth is cocked up as the Zeus disconnects.
Oh boy.
And ILTW and the IO are waiting to come in here. Oh boy. Oh boy. This could be a painful fight for either side. There is no Eclipse available, so it's actually a very risky fight if ILTW and Immersion want to come in for this one. They've got no other backoff to speak of, so it'd be a flat 3-on-3 with probably your Bane going down at the very start unless they can get in very quickly.
Let's ask chat again, dude.
Alright, chat. Is Misha gonna... No, should we do... Is Misha gonna survive? Or who's gonna win the fight? Alright. Is Misha gonna survive? Type 1 for yes. Type 2 for no. And type 3 for shut up, stupid caster, and get on with the game, even though we can't pause it anyway. I don't know why I said
definitely going to be a lot.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of threes.
By the way, you've dug yourself a really deep hole.
Right, I'm going to appreciate everybody in our chat, whether they're enjoying it or not. I mean, the safe answer, I can't remember what numbers I did for what now, but the safe answer is definitely Bane Dieter, because you got a Split Earth and a Pulse Nova, and Zeus is coming in behind. We've seen how much damage this Zeus can do in the fight. I don't really see Misha getting out of this one, but...
There's a haste rune on the Wisp.
There's a haste rune on the Wisp, you're right, you're absolutely right.
Who doesn't have Eclipse.
Yep. If Wisp uses haste whilst tethered, does he get the haste, or would he just go at the same speed as the Luna?
He gets haste, but the Luna doesn't get the haste as well. If that's
oh yeah, no, I knew that. That'd be a little bit OP.
That'd be sick though.
Very sick. But if your teammate has haste and you tether to them, then you get to go hasted as well, don't you?
Imagine if you got an invis rune. Yeah, that's right. What you said was right. But imagine if you got an invis rune, you tethered to someone and they got invis as well. That'd be so sick.
Shared runes. Yeah, because that's what Io needs, a buff. It's also a bit weird, just in case anybody's wondering, the Naga is here, by the way. She's just in the middle of Mirror Image, where she's actually banished for a split second, so there's currently no Naga.
This Spectre's going for a Blade Mail first, which I really like as well. I feel like you need that stopgap item before you go for this Radiance that we'll probably see come out from him to help your mid-game situation. He might even just be looking to build towards the Radiance straight away and hold on to his gold. And if he's going to die, he'll just buy out the Blade Mail, I imagine. But if he can get away with building this early Radiance, I'm sure he definitely will.
Yeah. Just got to have that quick buy lined up so you can spam the button as you're dying. So quick buy is certainly a risky feature to use sometimes. The amount of times I bought 2 Arcane Orbs.
Oh, this is sad.
Not sure what that says, but Roman, they're talking to RMN. So Crystal Maiden in this bottom lane, she's actually managed to find herself, this is a lot of farm for a CM, she's actually well above the Wisp, 1.1k gold above the Wisp in CS, sorry, in net worth. She's got herself a full urn and tranquil boots. Like, this CM is ballin', this is like...
She's a position for CM though, and the Wisp hasn't been... I'll be honest, the Wisp hasn't had a great game so far, and he has bought back once already as well, which
it's true.
That's hurt his net worth. I feel like it's going to get to this point though, where when the CM gets scary in late game situations, and if anybody's been following Summer Cup so far, we've seen that in the last few days. There's been some pretty bonkers CM games where I can't remember which game it was. Like was I casting with you, where the CM ult in front of the throne and just killed everybody? I don't think it was with you.
I don't think so.
But there was a CM ult. I think it was who was it? I think it was with Vega actually that they played the CM, and the CM just won the game by herself at the end because they didn't have any buybacks. She just got off this massive freezing field and just killed everybody.
Huge.
Because when she gets this blink BKB situation, you have to commit something to be able to stop that freezing field, and they have a Fiend's Grip and a Roar this game. Like she becomes a seriously scary late game support.
Alright, well here we go. G's are called, and we might be able to see... I don't remember what the numbers were anymore. I think 1 would live, 2 would die. And they are going to commit. The Sleep is out, going to avoid a bit of the damage here. Lifesteal as well, but no, the Wisp and the Bane have gotten themselves out of this one. Congratulations if you typed the correct number. I don't remember which one it was.
3 was the correct number, by the way.
3 is always the correct number. And one immersion, his haste rune. Just bottling up, keeping his Luna nice and healthy, and keeping himself healthy in the process as well.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this Crystal Maiden skill build as well. This is what I was talking about last game. I feel like you only need the 1 point in the aura now. Your skills are super valuable early on. There's no reason not to max them out anymore.
Oh, 9 in the top lane actually finding kill to Immersion. Not too sure how the Immersion was... how the Wisp was that far forward. A little bit interesting.
Who knows?
Just Wisp things.
I feel like the Espada game plan is very quickly unraveling. They are having some issues. And it feels like the Zeus is just becoming super strong. And with the Spectre coming online the way he is. He actually did buy out the Blade Mail first, by the way.
On the spec. Okay. No, I like that. I like that.
It's okay. It's the less risky play, I would say.
Yeah.
And as we saw last game, GangSquad, they're all about making sure they get to this late game well.
I mean, there's so much uncontrollable damage on the side of Espada, you know, with this, with the boat, with the torrent, with the glaives, with the wisp balls, with the axes. There's so much which the Spectre can just deflect, and that is really going to stack up. Individually, it's not much. With the dispersion and the blade mill, it's going to stack up pretty damn quick. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, BZZ finds a kill onto Aframish, the full position Maiden. I don't know, just boogie himself away.
I feel like the last 3 Raws have all been on the Crystal Maiden.
Misha is going to get the ultimate off onto the Zeus, and Naga will come in with the song, but that ultimate, the Eclipse, is still going off on Luna. Boogie just about going to survive. It's a close one, and now the ultimate just to finish it off as Misha goes down. Boogie on the run, though, and now comes in the Horn, trying to keep them back here. Going to even throw out a dagger, and they blow up Immersion. ILTW, though, very quickly trying to get out of this one, and will just about be successful. The Zeus was still waiting on the cooldown for his lightning. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, they also found a kill onto BZZ. That was a Crystal Maiden and the Leshrac grouping up together and finding kill onto the Beastmaster. So a couple of nice kills across the board from GangSquad. Might lose their Maiden now. No.
She's so tanky though.
Oh, no ghost ship available.
That was such a serious outplay in that top lane though. They nearly finished off the Zeus, but that song comes out.
Zeus so close, dude. That was so close.
Like the Narc just tanks all the Eclipse beams, and it's like, now what? And they just, I love how the Zeus just turns around and uses the ult and finds the kill as if nothing happened. Like cool guys don't look at explosions and just runs away. That was such a good play by GangSquad.
Absolutely.
It feels like, although I'd favoured the Espada draft, it feels like GangSquad are just outplaying them at this point. And it's such a good feeling as a team when you're outplaying somebody.
Sure, absolutely. Good boost for morale. And sets them in good stead, of course. Getting through this group stages. The top 2 teams go through, the bottom 2 teams do not. And this is, of course, phase 2 of a 3-phase tournament. Making it through to phase 3 means you have a chance to get to the summit. So everything to play for right now. And yeah, the winner match going to be significantly less pressure than the losers match. It's IRTW cleans up some more agents with the help of the IO.
If Luna goes for this Manta first, by the way, before BKB, I feel like that's a really big mistake. Yeah.
She's already got the Manta, yeah, she's finished it up.
They really need to play around these BKB timings. Because they're just Luna's saying, okay, well, I'm just going to farm. There's a Spectre on the other team. Like, Spectre's quite happy to just extend the game, as we've been talking about so far. I feel like you just go for the Yasha and then straight into the BKB and just try and take objectives and group up.
Sure, do you think the Conqueror is enough damage, though, to rely on completely and just kind of get your BKB up on your Luna and hope for the best? She's not a strength hero, she doesn't get that much damage from the BKB.
That's true, but I guess at the same time, they want to time their BKBs together. And I feel like if Luna gets the Manta, they probably will hit this dual BKB timing at the same time.
Why is RMN being so sneaky? Look at this guy. Just AFK in the trees.
Good question.
Waiting.
Not sure.
So the trap is set. And he TP's away. Aframish as well. There's a lot of heroes coming in for this actually, as the song is popped by Boogie. And well, now the Horde is out as well, but Boogie's just TP'd himself out of here. Top lane is going down as the boat comes in. It's going to miss 9 very low. The axe is actually going to finish him off, but Nyx also goes down the backlines. His ultimate from Ashmore doing so much work as BZZ drops as well. And it's going to be 2 kills for their Zeus. Sure, GangSquad do lose their Zeus, but they get so much more in return.
Great rotation for that. They get the Zeus, which is nice, but losing 2 cores in return is definitely not worth it. At least they're making space for some for their Luna to farm a little bit. And they know the Haunt isn't up for the next 2 minutes now, so maybe look to try and just safely farm on this Luna for a little while. Push some lanes out a bit more aggressively.
Well, Oliver and Boogie down in the bottom lane, going to be pushing up a little bit, but as you say, with this Haunt unavailable, it means that Oliver can't fight for a while or has to just stay with his team for a while. He doesn't have that instant initiation to join his team from farming.
He's getting closer to the Radiance, though. He's only 500 gold off the Relic.
Yep, he's getting there. But no, Haunt is a super nice skill to have as a carry, though. Like, I love playing Spectre just because there's no pressure. You don't have to be, like, making the smart rotations with your team. You can literally just AFK, brain dead farm a lane, and then the moment a fight takes off, you just whack that R button and get involved. Super quick.
Yeah, and especially against this Wisp.
Out, and the Zeus will scout it once again. Quite surprised Iron Man's going so far forward here. I'd have thought that once that Zeus ult reveals the smoke, they'd want to be as close together as possible. Aframish on the high ground, well, the CM is probably going to be the sacrificial lamb here. They even commit the Fiend's Grip to it, and just to bring down that CM. Now, RMN, he's in the tree lines. Doesn't TP out just yet. Oliver, he's a bigger target, and he's now got that TP scroll. But BZZ with the nice blink in, thanks to the Hawk. They find Oliver, now put him to sleep, and there's the torrent, there's the boat. It's all coming down onto the Spectre's head. Will pop the blade mail, but no chance of getting out of this one. Although RMN coming in the backlines, trying to do damage, trying to get a quick pick off, and Misha and Nine's in as well. They find one. BZZ, he's getting pretty low as well, as this Pulse Nova is doing the work. BZZ's low. 9 though, he's actually going for the greed and trying to get both the kills here. Finds one, can't find BTZ as he blinks up to the high ground, and 9 is too damn smart, and he finds him. And Immersion just with the TP, and I think he was just trying to go for zoning TP, I guess. Trying to bait them out, being like, I've got a Luna, be careful guys, and he didn't have a Luna. Could have been the high IQ play, but in the end it didn't work.
Luna didn't join in those fights either, and I feel like when she has her clips up, but she really just wants this BKB though. Like, it's so important. I can't say enough times this game how important the BKB is. Like, there's no physical damage to have to worry about, so this 10-second BKB, so big. And the Kunkka almost having his as well. The Luna just really wants to farm up in this meantime, and just try and catch up, use this mantle to its effectiveness. I feel like if she wanted to fight, she would have gone for the BKB first, so.
Yeah, I think you're right. Does she have half of it? Or yeah, so she's actually really close to that BKB, so yeah, the Manta kind of paying off, you know. She missed one fight for it seems, but she's going to have it for the next one. I think that's fine.
With the way she's played the game...
9 in the bottom lane, just with the Aghanim Scepter, finds the IO. That's a ridiculously fast Ags, by the way. Ags, Veil, and Yules at 22 minutes.
And he actually went for the lightning bolt.
Oh, up at top though, they found the Luna. She pops the Eclipse, so it's not enough. Aframish with the ultimate, the screen comes in from BZZ, is able to finish off that CM. Now the sleep is out onto Boogie as well. Song not able to come off as the boat comes through and takes down the Nagasara, and RMN trying to get away, but 9 is here as well. What can they really do though? RMN just trying to get off as much damage as he can before he dies. 9 is on the run. Misha is here though, he's got the sleep. Why did you turn around, 9? The rest of the team though, they're just not interested. They're getting out of this one. They don't want to find the kill onto the Zeus. As a buyback comes out from Boogie, of course he does have that Song. I think that's what Espada were afraid of. They're afraid of that buyback from the Naga. They assumed she had it, and they didn't want to get caught with their pants down, especially versus the Spectre.
Oh, there's a relocate.
No, relocate forwards. They're going to find Boogie, and there's that Song.
Meteor Hammer.
Sure.
Here we go.
Well, I think they're going to TP out, although the IO getting really low, but they don't stick around to finish him off. They just want to get out of this one, it seems. Meanwhile, Boogie doing his best to stay alive, turns around with a net next pulse of BKB on this Kunkka, as 9 runs forwards here. It does look like it's going to be a disengage of 9 coming forwards. Well, along with Aframish, they use the Yules up. They've got the Bane into the air here, and when he comes down, do they have the lockdown to keep him still? As ILTW comes in, they give up Aframish, and once again, GangSquad take the retreat after losing 1. They do find a kill onto the IO, but that's about it. You want the
He's just farming away in the bot lane though. He almost has his Radiance up. So at least they've got something going for them here. Yeah, he doesn't. He actually just picked it up off. It's going to be coming on the courier really soon, so... Yeah, I love this play though. They understand the Luna has their BKB, and this is exactly what I was talking about. Get your BKB timings, get objectives, go into the Roche pit. They have the medallion
going down
the
so quick. It will get scouted by the Naga illusion, but it doesn't really matter. And Penta, they're just not really in any place to contest this. And let's take a freebie on the... Oh wow, Misha actually got that last hit onto the
oh my god.
Nimbus. Thank you, 100 gold for your support.
So, Espada here, they have to take over the game in the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Yes.
This is their big timing, I would say. They can still win the game in this late game situation if they make the right maneuvers and things, but I feel like their draft is based around trying to take all these outer towers now that they have the Aegis.
Beastmaster's getting nuked down by Boogie and RMN. Can they finish him off, though? That's the question. The pipe comes out, but they do have enough damage, especially with 9's ulti there. Alright, that's really good, though. GangSquad, if they keep making these clever rotations and getting the pickups, it's just going to mean that Espada never find themselves in the position to really come forwards and try and make some plays here and take control of the game, as we were saying they need to.
This Spectre Radiance is going to completely change the game as well. Oh, they actually get
9. They get 9 with the ultimate. The stun comes out, and they get the return kill on Tamisha first. 9 needs to get away as the BKB out from ILTW allows her to clean up Aframish. Meanwhile, Spectre's in the middle of the fight. Can't really find anybody as 9 goes down. Now the song comes out, though. Who have they found? Boy. They're going to go onto the Kunkka. IO buys back, maybe coming into this one. And now comes the Meteor Hammer. The BKB is out just about in time. Now with the Armlet, they're doing a lot of work, and RMN is going to drop. I don't really see the Naga getting out of this one either as they chase him down. 3 heroes looking for the Naga. The Urn, is it going to top him off? Well, not quite. Boogie making some nice movements. But surely the IO is quick enough to chase him. Yeah, they get the X marks. Boogie just about doesn't manage to find the blink.
I feel like that's a really questionable song into the Meteor Hammer, though. Like, the Kunkka didn't use his BKB. Maybe they just didn't see it. And the Luna had already used her BKB. I know she has the Aegis, but I feel like you make the game so much easier for yourself if you just take that Aegis off her. You're not going to get the kill with the Meteor Hammer on the Kunkka if you don't use the Aquila trick.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. These BKBs are just, as we expected, doing so much work in these fights. So, the bell curve, it could have gone worse. Could have gone better, but it could have gone worse. At least Spectre lived. Is now sitting pretty with a Radiance and a Blade Mail. Next up is the Manta. I personally don't like the Manta. I know it helps you get away from some of the slows, but there's so much AoE, you know, from the Kunkka and from the Luna just to take care of those illusions so quickly, so it just kind of makes the a little less worth.
I'll be honest, I actually quite like a Crimson on the Spectre this game. Just because it's so good against all the Luna Glyphs.
That's true.
But I guess you don't really want to be building these utility items on your late game hard carry. Like, the Manta's okay, it's especially good with the Radiance. You can use it to push out the lanes with the illusions. It's okay. I just think it shows that they're really going to be having to build towards this real late game situation now, though, with this, if they're going for the Manta next on the Spectre.
Sure.
I feel like if they wanted to fight, they'd probably be going something like a Heart. I'm glad that Espada have just taken all the outer towers, though, with the Aegis.
Oh, they found RMN up in the top lane. RMN, he's not getting out of this one.
Yeah. So now what the Espada needs to do is just shut the map out from GangSquad. They just need to stop them from farming. Just keep them in their base like they are at the moment. GangSquad are so scared to go anywhere. They just need to wait out for the second rush. Get the Aegis, get the cheese on the Kunkka as well.
Second rush? They've already got the Aegis on Luna right now.
Yeah, I know, but in terms of like how they want to play the game. Okay. Like, they've only got the Aegis for an extra minute, so if they can use this to try and go high ground, it's great, but it's not easy to push high ground into a Zeus. I feel like you just want to out-farm them now. Wait for this second rush to come up before you really commit.
Well, Oliver and Aframish taking a risky trip up the top lane, and this game has gone from... And immediately... Oh no, they don't spot them out with the... So look at how desperate Oliver has to be to get to the farm. And then he's just going to TP back to base because there's a fight about to break out.
They are so scared to fight into this Aegis at the moment, though. They have to be really patient and just wait it out. As soon as that Aegis goes down, they'll probably just commit to a fight with the Haunt Radiance. But for now, play safe.
Aegis, not long left, 16 seconds in fact, so probably won't make use of it, but, you know, they have made use of it, though, by being so aggressive, by putting the Luna on the front line, and just not really inviting GangSquad to take a fight, and I feel like RMN's probably going to die here. Raw, Luna, you're dead.
But this is fine, GangSquad are just stuck in their base, and I'd really like to see some good aggressive vision from Espada here. They have the one in the spot lane on the hill. They probably need one in the top lane as well. Just shut GangSquad in their base, and if they ever try to leave, punish them. Oh, here comes the
Sleep is
relocate.
used onto Naga. They're going to relocate in as well. And the Fiend's Grip. Oh no, Spectre took the sleep and then a Fiend's Grip on top of it. And the Eclipse annihilates the Song. Down goes one, down goes two. Oliver, well, he finds a kill onto the Wisp just with Dispersion and Blade Mail, but not really worth it in the end. Oh, that was...
Can they go high ground against the Zeus? That's the question.
You know what happened there, though? Like, with the, up into the air, Zeus goes, actually walks into the torrent.
It's just impossible to go high ground against the Zeus, especially without an Aegis.
It's a bit of a pain.
Like, they're winning fights, but they need to be able to go high ground, and this is why I mean they need to wait for the second Aegis to really punish them. Especially if the Aya was there to help sustain the Luna through, it might be a little bit easier, but...
Well, Zeus ulti used just to scout some heroes out. And this early Nimbus, I kind of felt like the Zeus would be pretty much unstoppable once he had that, but he really didn't do a lot. And in comes BZZ onto the Zeus here in the top lane. This is a very important kill. They stand a chance of going high ground if they can finish it off. But in comes Spooky. He's got no song. He has got a net. 9 up onto the high ground. Looks like he's going to survive. And they actually turn it around onto BZZ. And 9 will live to Lightning Bolt another day.
This must be the 5th time in this game that Zeus has got away on about 100 HP.
Honestly. He is making some clutch escapes this game, and Kunkka, well, he's going to pick up his crits now, which is going to give him a decent amount of creep clearing potential, as if they need it anymore.
He also has a DD bottle, by the way, so if they take a fight now, this could be a huge deal, having this DD on the Kunkka.
Well, they are taking a fight, but it's going to be a 4-on-2 if Espada get caught out here. Doesn't look like they're going to...
Zeus is doing such a good job of disrupting this Espada vision. Like, he knows where they want to ward just outside their base to try and punish them whenever they make rotations, and he's just de-warding them every single time. Like, if you look at the Espada vision on the map, they actually don't see anything.
But look at Luna's items. Butterfly, Satanic, Manta Style, BKB. How do you fight against this?
They're playing really well at the moment. They just need to wait for this second rush. So the minimum respawns in 20 seconds.
Espada are playing, yeah, Espada are playing really well.
Just play it safe. Honestly, both teams are playing pretty well, though. I feel like both teams are trying to play towards what their draft is aimed to.
Yeah. Can we just... Leshrac with the power treads is pretty interesting. Don't see that too often.
It's not too surprising, though, in the sense that it tanks you up a little bit more.
Yeah, and if you don't really have the need for the mana due to the CM passive, so... Makes sense. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Do the Naga illusions work on scan? I think they just set it off.
No.
I didn't think they did, but I didn't see anything else there that would set the scan off.
Fairly sure Biggie and Afromush were just leaving the area as it went. I don't know.
Not sure.
Replay plus.
I didn't think illusions worked.
Action replay for that moment. That's what we need.
Maybe I'm just being blind. It's very possible.
Could be. Could be.
I mean, I think it's coming home for the World Cup, so I'm obviously blind.
True, true. Well, that's all of England right now, and we won't talk about football because this is a Dota stream. Shut up, Mo Farah. Anyway, BZZ walking around. He's got this Blink Dagger. He's got this Raw. He wants to find a target. Meanwhile, IRTW and Immersion will drop quite a lot onto these illusions. Once again, they're doing such a good job of giving them information. Now Beastmaster comes in, but Boogie, well, does he get caught here? I don't think he does. He's going to get out. The Hawk is going to see him, but just a little bit too late. In fact, it's not going to see him at all. Spectre also manages to get the TP out, so once again, Espada unable to punish these GangSquad hero for farming. Well, Afro, there comes the Nimbus, though, just to kind of disrupt Nyx here, and Afro's just kind of playing around right now.
Honestly, they're just pushing lanes out to get ready to go to Roche soon. Like, they're just securing this top area around the Roche pit, making sure nobody's here. Pushing in this bot lane so somebody's forced to deal with it while they go for the Roche. And they'll probably just head over in the next 30 seconds to a minute or so.
Boogie comes in. Song used. It's just onto Misha. The other heroes from Espada are coming in quickly. They need to get this kill quickly. They do so. But then comes the Roar out onto the Spectre. They want to dump everything onto this Spec. Can they bring it down? IRTW with the BKB just coming in. And Spectre gets blown up by the Eclipse. Afromush tries to go for an ulti. Doesn't work. IRTW just eating everybody up in this fight. 9. He's the last one left alive with his Leshrac. And he's just trying to do anything he can to keep them out, to do a bit of damage, but I feel like it's just a little bit too late. Buybacks are available on all 3 of the dead GangSquad heroes, but their base is going to fall so quickly. I'm wondering what they can even do. They have the Haunt available. Buyback is used. Haunt to follow it up. Misha on the sidelines. Gets the ultimate onto the Zeus, though. Keeps it locked down for a very long time. does eventually go down. Meanwhile, the rest of Espada will have to try and get out of this one, but BZZ is in trouble. Emotion's already gone, but it's a Luna who gets brought down as well. The Nimbus comes down on their head, and it is a 4-man wipe. GangSquad with the big turnaround. It cost them a couple of buybacks, which means that Espada won't be completely disappointed with this trade, but they're definitely going to be disappointed that they gave away so much in that retreat.
I feel like they haven't respected GangSquad at all there. I feel like when they get those 3 kills, we've talked about how hard it is to go high ground against the Zeus when you don't have Aegis.
Oh.
Roche is still up.
Nyx jumps into Boogie, or did Boogie jump into Nyx? Well, down comes the boat, down comes the torrent. Nyx will have to do it the old-fashioned way, but in comes the roar. BCZ is here.
Okay, now they can go for the Roche. When the Luna's back up again, this is fine now that Naga's dead.
Well, they're jumping onto the Beastmaster. BCC is taking a lot of damage here, and they actually brought back on the Luna and the Wisp to try and contest this. Are they trying to contest Roshan? Are they trying to save their Beastmaster? I'm just not really too sure. Either way, nothing's going to come of this.
If you were going to buy back though, you have to do it way before. If they get the Roche, it's not too bad. But I feel like when they won that fight bot before, they should have just run towards the Roche bit, because they just didn't respect the buybacks from GangSquad at all.
I'm sure everybody's getting PTSD from the Roshan right now. GangSquad unsure on whether to commit to this. It doesn't look like they're going to. They'll use the Nimbus, they'll scout it out, but they are well out of this one.
They can't fight without the Haunt up from the Spectre, but they have forced the Luna buyback here. So both teams have a win condition now where everyone's used their buybacks. I think apart from the Zeus. Yeah, Zeus still has his buyback. So if one team wins a fight now, the next fight is huge, basically, for whoever wins.
That's the question, though. Like, Espada put themselves in this really weird position where they have to fight, but they don't have the buyback on their Luna. They don't have the buyback on anybody, in fact. And Zeus. Oh, sorry, Kunkka has his.
The Spectre doesn't have buyback either, so
true.
They have both teams have a win condition.
Yeah, it's an equal playing ground, except that Espada have the stronger heroes for this point in the game, and they got some good items to go along with it. Still 7 seconds on the Luna BKB. And only 6 seconds on the Kunkka BKB, so that's going to start to hurt a bit. With a Leshrac and a Zeus in the game, these shorter timing BKBs are really painful. Because these fights are going to go on for a long time. And the Zeus and the Leshrac excel in dealing a good amount of magic damage over long periods of time. Like, they can sustain it for a very long time.
Yeah. And I'm surprised the Luna's managed to still have a 7-second BKB. I feel like that's... just because they haven't been taking that many fights. They've kind of just been zoning them out with that first Aegis that they had. I still don't know if they can go high ground against the Zeus, though, with this Aegis, now that they've used all their buybacks. It's super risky.
Yeah, and Zeus is actually going, he's got enough mana, enough gold for that Octarine.
He wants
to hold his buyback.
Though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially without the Spectre having the buyback herself. You can't take that risk at this point in the game. You're 40 minutes in. Don't throw the game from a silly mistake not having buyback. That's like every one of my pub games ever.
Oliver turns off the Radiance and has a TP ready. Actually considering turning this one around, but no, they get out. Oh, BZZ actually saw the Spectre just in the last minute there, but didn't have the Roar available. Wow, that's close.
Very.
Alright, so a quick brush with death, and that would have been a no buyback Spectre. In fact, I'm almost surprised she was that far out of the base without buyback.
Naga is building towards this Axe as well, which I think is the right thing.
Yeah,
when you get to this late game situation with Naga, the way you play the Naga's turns is different. So when you start off at the game, you use the song to initiate. When you get to this point where everyone has BKBs, you have to use the song after they've initiated on you to turn the fight around, ensnare somebody that's used their BKB and pick them off while the rest of their team has slept.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really good choice.
Yeah, with, as you say, with the Aghanims and the regen it gives you and everything, so that's going to make picking them off all the much easier. And also the Eclipse is going to do a lot less, but they found the Leshrac in the top lane Iron Man. He's not getting out of this one. They even relocate on him, quite interestingly.
Yeah, unfortunately, RMN's on suicide duty this game in terms of pushing lanes up.
Yeah.
Like, they have the Naga with the Riptide as well, but he has buyback.
Is that worth it then, just to get the lane gold pushed out?
Yeah, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. Like, your buyback's 600 gold. It's not too bad.
Okay.
They really want to try and do something with this Aegis on the Luna, though. But GangSquad are playing so safe and just pushing the lanes out really tactically. I want to say this Naga heal on the Aghanims is super valuable with a hero like Spectre as well, who has a dispersion. Like, any heal you can give the Spectre just means that this dispersion is going to do so much more.
Oh, they're actually making a play onto the Luna here. They have to damage so much, but she of course has this Aegis. So even if they bring her down once, she's popped the Satanic though, and is not going to survive. And this is life number 2 with a BKB, but without a Satanic. I'm wondering if GangSquad want to commit to this one. It looks like they do. They force out the BKB, and that's going to be enough to get them back. And that is a precious, precious BKB charge. That is the 7 seconds now down. Everyone is a little bit easier. The Song coming in. They want to catch someone off on the backlines. They catch one, they catch two. Bane and Wisp are locked down on this. They'll even use a Nimbus to try and get a couple more. Immersion going to tether himself out of this one. Meanwhile, the Spectre coming in, seeing what she can find, disappearing around this fight. Are they going for bottom? Are they going top? Who knows? I don't. Looks like bottom is the play as those 3 ghost ships come through, but do not realize a whole lot. Boogie giving chase, and it just doesn't look like they're going to find anybody. BKB pop from Nyx, he just TPs out of this one, and GangSquad are unable to convert.
There's a few things I want to mention about that fight as well. I feel like
that wasn't a fight, that was a chase. That was a wild action goose chase. Hold on a minute, as we have a bit of a support battle here as RMN goes on to Misha and can take him out no problems. 9 just drops on Nimbus to steal the kill because he's a horrible human being.
It feels like they overcommitted with the Aegis there to try and get a kill, and then they get punished really heavily by that by the Zeus. Like, they pop the Satanic and the Spirit CM used a Spirit Vessel on the Luna, so even though she got a few hits off, she just healed absolutely nothing.
Oh, Raw out with the you relocate in, and they just blow up Boogie.
Now that's a big play, especially Boogie actually doesn't have buyback for a minute left as well, so they might look to try and do something, but they've lost the Aegis now, so it's really difficult to get high ground still against this Zeus.
Yeah, it feels like it could be a long one, you know. It's one of these games where they've both got such good high ground defense, and the Zeus Spectre's is starting to come back online now. You know, she's going towards her heart. But then you look at, so looking kind of projecting forwards, you know, if GangSquad do manage to turn this one, which looks like they might, how on earth do they take high ground? They're against a Luna and a Kunkka.
It's really not easy for both teams. You remember the Naga that used that song before in the bot area?
Yeah.
I was really hoping that she used that song earlier. As soon as that Luna BKB'd, I feel like you just blink in on the Naga, ensnare the Luna up, and like we were just talking about, just pick her off while the rest of her team has slept.
Yep.
But the song just came out too late, and I'm sorry to go back to it, but
taking it back, dude. Live in the now, not in the past. Come on.
Yeah, this Spectre's becoming such a massive issue now.
Yeah, and there's not many answers to the Spectre. I really feel like the Beastmaster should get this Silver Age online. I think late game Silver Ages are very, very valuable versus the Spectre.
It's all about which team gets the jump, whether they can use the song to counter-initiate,
which talents,
and where they use their BKBs and how effectively. Oh, mid lane.
Oh, they have found the IO once again. Immersion. He's been going down a lot this game. 11-1 right now. Sorry, 1-11 right now.
They get the
mid lane. They're going on to the Spectre here. She does have buyback available. The Glimmer's doing so much work that they don't have the vision with the song as well. Gonna help her heal up a little bit. Oliver trying to work around this fight, just staying in the tree line. Now jumps out. Luna's taking so much damage and she's just gonna drop. No more BKB available. Nyx, meanwhile, on the front lines, trying to make something happen as BCZ comes in as well. Nyx does do a lot of work, but who can they really find? Meanwhile, Oliver picks off Misha in the backline. Zeus now jumping into this fight, and this is just Espada getting completely torn apart as GangSquad take them all. They take every single hero. What a fight. Just playing around those BKB timings. You know, Oliver on that Spectre with the play into the tree line, just waits it a couple of seconds and jumps straight back in, knowing exactly when to reinitiate there. Beautifully done by GangSquad, and they might well take a tier 2 and force some buybacks from this as well.
That was such a sick glimmer by the Crystal Maiden as well, just to keep the Spectre alive. She knew there was no detection because it was only the Beastmaster and the Luna. And exactly like we just mentioned, it's all about how much you get done during your BKB timing. Luna pops the BKB, gets nothing done for the 6 seconds or whatever it was, and they just turn the fight around. It doesn't matter how far ahead you are on this Luna.
And here we go.
All about the BKBs.
Okay, so those are 2 buybacks forced. The Kunkka is the kind of valuable one. And he's actually going to drop the X marks, tries to Manta dodge, but actually messed up the timing a little bit. Meanwhile, the Crystal Maiden is put to sleep as the 3 boats come in.
They really want this Luna buyback. She has another 35 seconds, and I feel like if they don't buy back on the Luna now, there's going to be possibly a set of racks, but they push so slowly.
It's very slow, isn't it? The tier 3 is ticking. It's ticking. And a tier 3 won't quite be worth it. Afro jumps on the front lines and immediately gets hit by the Conquer. And now the Torrent comes out as well. Afro's getting low, but Oliver onto the front lines. Pops that Blade Mail, looking to kind of fight us up a bit. That's a BKB charge from the Conquer. He's down to 5 seconds. Now the Wisp just gets torn apart. Conquer as well. 9 all over this fight as GangSquad just come forwards. And again, you know, the moment those BKB charges run off, GangSquad are there and they are taking care of business. And now the Luna comes back and Io has the buyback as well.
How's the Luna not committing buyback for that fight? You've just watched your Kunkka dieback.
Yeah, that's very questionable. I understand the importance, but man,
like you can't fight them even if you come back with your own buyback up. Like you have to have other heroes.
They're going onto the Luna here. This is who they choose, and Manteria's popped Eclipse as well. And once again, they actually get the Fiend's Grip onto the Spectre. This could be huge, but the Song to turn it around. The Eclipse is still going, but what does it matter? Meteor Hammer gonna come down onto 2, absolutely, and now they jump in. No BKBs available. They do get the shout out from the backline onto the Zeus, but what does it matter? ILTW and Immersion have fallen. Buyback is used on the Luna, but the Wisp has none, and ILTW coming straight back in, but they have the net, they have the Nimbuses, there's stuff everywhere. This game is over, GG is called, ILTW calls it, and GangSquad take, well, they take Espada out of the 2-0, which is just, sounds weird to say. I was like, I'm double checking in my head, like, really? I don't think many people expected this, but Espada, they crumbled.
Yeah, I think Espada are going to watch this game back and really, they'll probably learn quite a few things from this game, like, I feel like they shot themselves in the foot in the early game with their rotations. Felt like they were forcing fights far too early and just they gave the Zeus so much in the early game. Like he's the only person that can tempo control that game for GangSquad. And if you give him a good start, that's the only way they stay in that game. And the Spectre had a rough start, but who cares? He just always comes back. All it takes is, like we said, a couple of good fights with the Horn. He becomes this unkillable beast. And yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
I mean, it's unreal how this game went, really. If you look at the graphs and compare the Spectre to the Luna, you know, there was one point where the Luna was sitting on 25k net worth and the Spectre was sitting on 15k. That was a 10k difference in gold. Nearly double the net worth on the Luna, but yet they just couldn't finish the game. And when you can't finish the game, when you can't take high ground, 9 people on his epic Zeus game.
Like, they just didn't... They have to shut down that Zeus. Like, they have to jump him. But their gap close on the side of Espada is nothing. They either relocate on top of him, or they somehow blink raw him in the backline. You saw BZZ did that in the last fight, but it didn't matter because everybody's already dead. And I have to say, I feel like it was a really big misplay by ILTW not to buy back in that last fight when the Kunkka died again.
I would agree.
I mean, he's ILTW is a great player, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be really disappointed with that looking back.
He even had cheese. Didn't pop it, but he had it at the end of the game. 62k damage on the Zeus, perhaps not as much as you might expect, but then again, these fights were deceptively quick in the end. You know, you see Zeus, Spectre, Leshrac, you expect these fights to kind of drag on a little bit, but they were gone like that. So, you know, not kind of the elongated fights where Zeus gets off a ton of damage, especially with these early BKB timings as well. It means his damage is somewhat limited, and the pipe, of course, negating a bit. Yeah, very interesting game. Espada definitely want to be looking over that one. They will drop down to play in the lower bracket playoffs. Meanwhile, GangSquad, they get to go into the upper bracket playoffs, which means that so the 2 teams which win in this match and the next match. So GangSquad will pay the winners of the next match. The winner of that gets through for sure. The loser will have to play again versus the winner of the lower bracket, which is the match which Espada are going to go play in, and then the winner of that will get to go through to the playoffs as well. So. Not guaranteed for GangSquad just yet, but definitely on the path to victory and making it through to those all-important playoffs for a spot in the Summit over in LA. It's a free ride to LA. What more could you ask for? And of course, a chance to take part in the tournament, which is obviously what the players are.
If Nomad just confused you there, it was quite a lot of words. It's basically just a double elimination bracket. Like it's the same as it was in Stage 1.
The phases, dude. The phases.
Phase 2, dude.
Phase
I mean,
2.
GangSquad just was a really good execution of their draft. I'm still pretty impressed. They held their nerve, held their high ground with the Zeus, and they pushed through.
They certainly did. And look at all the damage 9 was putting out that game with all this spells. Mostly focused on the Conquer, interesting. Anyway, we will disappear, but we will be back with the next game coming up very shortly, and that is going to be Let's Do It, aka Kinguin versus the Final Tribe. That's going to be an awesome game, so don't go anywhere. We'll see you very shortly, but for now, it's goodbye. I hope you're enjoying the cast. Throw us a follow on Twitter.